Hey, Frederick.
Hi.
Welcome on the Hashrate series video interview. Actually, the first one. It's usually a written format, but you suggested we do it in video, and it's actually a great idea. So I'm very happy to welcome you. Also, you had us a couple of months ago. I mean, you had Mode as an interviewee, and it was a very enjoyable interview, and I think people enjoyed it too. We actually broke it down in a few little pieces. I will put the link in the description. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you
Uh,
so much.
thank you. So we loved the first go around. It was great. But now we want to know. You're not the interviewer today. It's me. So we
Yes.
want to know who you are. Can you tell us a bit about yourself first?
Yes, I'm Frederick. I'm gonna be 30 years old in 2 weeks. So hitting the three
Wow.
very,
It
very
all
soon.
goes downhill from there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I'm already losing hairs are turning gray. So yeah. Anyhow, yeah, I'm Frederick. I'm from Germany. I am located close to Düsseldorf, where also my company CryptoHall 24 is located. And yeah, we are a crypto mining hardware supplier and hosting supplier. So basically, we sell crypto mining hardware, and also we offer crypto mining hosting for our clients. Yes.
Interesting. So, like, this is not your typical 30 years old activity in Düsseldorf. I guess there's not many competitors around. Can you tell us first, tell us a bit more about specifically the difference between the different activities you have at Crypto Hall 24?
Yeah.
When was it founded? By whom? Where? Like, so you told us where,
Yeah.
but tell us a bit more about the company and tell us how did you get into that?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I try to keep it very short. So actually, CryptoHall 24 is my second company. I have another company which is called My Shoefitter, and together with the Fraunhofer Institute, it's like a German scientific institute, we have developed an AI model back in 2019 when AI was not so fancy as it is right now, to measure feet through pictures. With the goal, if you want to buy a shoe online and you don't know which size you have to order, you take a picture of your foot. Through the AI model, we measure the foot, compare the measurements with the inner shoe measurements, and that's how we can provide the perfect fitting shoe size.
Wow. So just to be clear,
Yeah,
the Fraunhofer Institute is also the place where MP3 got invented, right?
correct. Yes. Actually,
Okay.
funny that you know it. Yes, but it's
Uh,
true. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so you did a first company doing this.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, the key or core development time was during the pandemic, during the COVID pandemic, and a problem was when there was the first very hard lockdown. Even the Fraunhofer Institute was in an internal lockdown because employees, they didn't had the chance to do home office because the IT infrastructure didn't allow it to log in into the data bank, data with all this critical source code. Yeah, and that's why our project was on ice for a couple of months. Yeah, and actually, I became a father, and then there was a problem. My main project is on hold. I'm a father now. I have to be responsible. I have to do something, yeah, supply for my family. Yeah, and after watching a lot of YouTube videos and googling, I came to crypto trading, like day trading, etc., which is obvious the first thing you find when you are looking for how to make money online fast. But it was very, very stressful and nothing for me. And then I watched a YouTube video from the German YouTuber Torben Platzer, and he presented crypto mining. I think it was in 2020 and or beginning of 2021, and then I fell absolutely in love. Imagine, it's so cool. You put a computer somewhere, the computer is working for you. You don't have to do anything, just a little bit of maintenance, etc., and the machine earns you money. Wow,
Hmm.
that's amazing. Your personal robot friend. Yeah, super cool.
And you're contributing to the security of a network at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yes. That's of course too. But yeah, I don't know. It was so fascinating in general. And then also with crypto mining, I found more out about crypto in general, the nature behind crypto, decentralization, no dependency on central banks, etc., which is also very cool. Yeah, and then one thing came to the next one. So I built mining rigs back in the days, GPU mining rigs.
Yeah.
Then built them for friends and family, and after all, it escalated a little bit. And now, or later on, I founded CryptoHall 24. Yeah, now we are a big player in the retail mining business. Yeah.
Interesting. Like so because like a lot of people went your way and stopped at I built a few little mining rigs and I lost a lot of money, burned a few graphic cards, but you did the transition to actually building a company. That's interesting. So just for the sake of being specific, you sell miners, you host miners, you service miners.
Yes.
These are your three main activities, basically, right?
Yes, yes. We also do consulting in this area. So I would say one of our key advantages or USPs in comparison with other companies is that we are always try to consult as much as possible. I think probably we will talk later in this interview about it. I mean, it's a huge difference if you plan Bitcoin mining activities or, for example, Alephium mining activities when it comes to forecasting, new hardware, etc., etc. And that's where we try to be as transparent and as good as possible, because our main goal is in the end that our customer is profitable. I mean, otherwise there would be no chance for us to stay in this business for a longer time, because when all our customers are unprofitable, that's a very short-term business.
Can you, like, most people have no idea about this industry. It's completely in the crypto industry, but it's also adjacent somehow. So is the industry big in Europe, for example? Is it typical for a company to be based in continental Europe, or is it mostly companies somewhere else? People might have heard of Compass Mining or the big ones like this who set up shop in the previous cycle. Can you just throw the industry for us very quickly?
Yeah. So the main part of the industry is in the US, definitely, by far. Companies and also hosting activities. I mean, also Russia is very big when it comes to crypto mining, but I would say the main market is the US. Europe is still very, very niche. I mean, the main problem here in Europe is the energy prices are way too high. And when people are trying, so before you start mining, you do your research. And then let's say you live in Switzerland, then you do your research, how much you have to pay for electricity, what are the earnings, and then you will come to the conclusion that, okay, it's not possible here. That's also why we offer hosting. But anyhow, we have a lot of crypto enthusiasts in Europe. And I think also when more people would know that mining can be profitable, the mining market here would be bigger. Not in terms of real mining happening in the EU, but for example, using retail companies as CryptoHall 24 or Compass to let the miners who host the miners. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so now you've started the business so it's almost, let's say, 4 years. So you've seen bull market, bear market, semi-bull market again, semi-bear market again. Maybe bull market, who knows? You've seen a cycle, right? One of the big discussion of that cycle has been proof of stake versus proof of work. And we've seen, in fact, in that time period, Ethereum go from one to the other. Can you tell us your vision, because you're investing, right, in the future on proof of work, so it means you're not desperate on proof of work. Can you tell us why? What's the case of proof of work today?
So the crypto space is a very, very young space, and everyone is trying around, trying to find the perfect solution. And there's still a lot of room and possibilities for a special solution. In this case, I think Bitcoin will always be number one. Yeah, but there's space for many other solutions. And the thing is, we have advantages and disadvantages with different blockchain technologies. For example, proof of work. proof of work is by far the best one when it comes to decentralization and security. I mean, the nature of crypto is decentralization. Yeah. After the financial crisis, the Bitcoin paper was published. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason behind it. But the problem is when it comes, for example, to proof of stake, it's fast, it's efficient, but it's definitely super centralized. And actually, that's exactly what is against the nature of crypto, in my opinion. And yeah, from a technical point of view, proof of stakes makes sense, of course. But I think we need something else. And actually, for example, Alephium here is a very, very interesting, let's say, a solution which combines a lot of advantages from different platforms. Maybe we can talk, or we will talk later about it. And yes, that's my opinion about it. Yeah.
So that was actually one of my questions. Like there's a flourishing of creative consensus mechanisms, right? Like you have some proof of work, proof of stake combined, like I think Dash is now. You have the masternodes thing where you still have proof of work. You have some combined proof of work and coin burning, like Alephium. So there is more and more hybridation also of consensus mechanism.
Yeah, hybridation is a good word.
So what do you think about that trend? Because like we were in a space the other day with like a bunch of other proof of work chains. It was really interesting because over 15 or so coins, some of them were moving from proof of work to proof of stake. Some were already hybrid. Some had different kind of hybridation. I don't know. And is it something that you see like that the hybridation is a trend, a mega trend in the proof of work market for you?
Yeah, I would say yes. To be honest, I'm not the true expert when it comes to consent mechanism and the main advantages and disadvantages. But yes, definitely, I would say there is a big trend. For example, I mean, Cadena did a similar approach. Dash, as you said, now Alephium, which probably has the best, let's say, base for everything. For example, another good example is Casper. I mean, it's still proof of work, but they have like parallel, like with the block deck technology. There here and there new ways or developments of the blockchain itself. Yeah. So I'm a miner. So my key hope is that proof of work will never die. Probably it will never die especially because of Bitcoin. And but yeah, it's definitely a trend I see. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So moving a little bit further than this, as a miner, again, you have big capex. You need to buy these machines, right? And you have to spend the energy. So you have to kind of have a vision of the market. Like, what are the big trends in the mining markets, like that you are looking for in the next? Let's not go too much in the future, but 2-3 years or something.
There's one thing I would say which could be a problem: the centralization of hash power, because especially with the Bitcoin network, more miners are competing with more and more hash power, which means the profitability is going down in the long term, or at least right now, or in the next years. And people have to have better cost structures. So the big miners who have very, very low electricity prices, very efficient management system, etc., they will still be very, very profitable. But smaller miners, and especially home miners, they will have some problems. Yeah, I mean, maybe not with altcoins. Yeah, especially with Bitcoin right now. But there's definitely a shift to centralization when it comes to hash power. Yeah. For example, the Bitcoin, the total network hash rate. I mean, I don't know percentage-wise how many percentage or how much percentage the big players have, but it's a lot actually right now. Yeah.
Do you see it as a risk for the network because of regulation, capture risks, and things like this?
Yes. Actually, it could also be a risk, for example, for Alephium. I mean, you see that the new AL1 from Bitmain has 15.6 terahash in the Pro version, I think 16.5. Imagine one player buys 5,000 machines. That would be like the main hashrate factor. You know, I mean, I don't think that you will face these problems because many different parties are interested in Alephium miners. But in general, this could be a problem in the future. Yeah. Mm.
Uh, what's interesting is that I have no prior information about anything, but like it has been interesting to see the ASICs come on board, because from first I never expected that we would have like 3 different producers come on board at the same time, more or less, like over 2 months, let's say. The variance in the offering is huge, like from a few hundred gigahash to a few terahash to like a lot of terahash at the same time.
Yeah.
Is completely different markets at the end of the day. I mean, mainly it's like two big markets, right? Like the retail home miner and the professional industrial miner, or in co-hosting.
Mm.
So have you seen that before, like with other coins? Like what would be the typical effect of ASICs coming on board on a new chain?
Yeah. So first of all, in my opinion, it's a big signal of trust for the network. So Bitmain is the biggest. So for all the people who don't know the mining markets, Bitmain is the biggest miner manufacturer in the world. Maybe they have 80% market share. So they are by far the biggest one. When they produce an ASIC miner for a network, in our case, Alephium, they trust the network because they won't risk, they won't take a big risk because they spend a lot of money on research and development, producing, etc., etc. And in my opinion, that's a key milestone for Alephium, definitely. And even with 3 players, yeah, Ice River, Goldshell with their home miners, yeah, and now Bitmain. Wow, that's super cool. And in my opinion, this makes a project, what is a good English word? Evolve. Yeah, let's say the project. Yeah,
It's a step. It's
yes,
a step.
definitely. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes there's a little language barrier.
Yeah, but
That's why.
how are your clients? Because like I guess some you probably have some clients that are like, okay, I'm a hardcore Bitcoiner. I want to mine Bitcoin. I want to contribute to the Bitcoin network.
Mhm.
Either they do it at home or they do it with you. But do you have some clients that are a little bit more, let's say, open to new coins and experiment and have like,
Mhm.
let's say, diversified farms in a way? Is that in the market for you also?
Yeah, definitely. I would say our customers, their intentions are mixed. Some of them are absolute Bitcoin maxis. They would never mine something else than Bitcoin. And then we have also the people who are always aiming for the highest profitability. Yeah, and for example, right now, the highest profitability is with Alephium mining by far. It used to be Casper, yeah, but because the Casper hash rate is increasing and increasing because more and more people are mining it, yeah, more and more people ask us about Alephium mining, of course. Yeah.
The one thing that is interesting is that we're a proof of work chain, so you can mine us, Alephium, but we're also smart contracts capable. So there are DeFi protocols, there are dApps, and theoretically, that's something that differentiates us from a lot of other proof of work chains, right? Like, so with other chains, people can mine and then sell. That's the only way for them to cover their investment, right? But theoretically, you could, in the opposite, you could use the Alephium mining to produce yield in DeFi, for example. Like, how does that impact the miner's mind? Because I don't think it's typical in the mining's world. And how do you think about this? Because like, okay, you keep the risk of the value, right? But also you can unlock additional yield. Like, so how do you think about that?
I think first of all, it increases the chance of being profitable because when, for example, smart contracts and whatever is enabled on a blockchain, It brings more activity on this chain, yeah, which overall or in the end will increase the prices. Yeah, I mean, this is a key point about mining, and also that makes it more, let's say, plannable, because Alephium is still a very new project, but you can see potential. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, as a miner, in the end, it always goes about the coin price. Yeah, our main goal is, of course, Alephium, that Alephium is successful, that the coin price increases, so mining stays profitable. And yeah, especially with these possibilities, especially with the proof of work blockchain, it's amazing. Yeah.
So can you tell us how you discovered Alephium first? Like, what made you want to dive in?
Yeah.
And what's your, and also you probably have been a bit in the mining community of Alephium, and like, can you tell us about your feeling about them, and how did you see it evolve? So
Yeah.
let's start with the beginning. How did you discover Alephium?
Actually, it was in Oman, where I met Maud on the World Digital Mining Summit from Bitmain.
Yes.
And actually, they invited her because they were probably also right in at this time in the phase of building an own ASIC miner. And yeah, I had long conversations with Maud. Actually, she's very cool. Besides that, being one of the CEO or the COO of the team, and yeah, that's how I found out. Maud told me about all the advantages Alephium has, and yes, that's how everything started. I deep dive a little bit into it, did some research, and also I did the interview with Maud because it is also super interesting for our community, for the mining community. And yes, yeah. And to talk about the community, that's quite interesting. I mean, I would call so everyone who starts Alephium mining is taking a risk, of course. So, for example, if you buy an AL1 right now, the machines are very, very expensive, like 30K plus with taxes, and the network hash rate is relatively low right now. But when Bitmain is releasing the AL1, the network hash rate will explode. Yeah. So everyone who is taking the risk expects also Alephium, the coin price to rise. And that's why I would say, so the very conservative miner is not mining Alephium. They're mining Bitcoin and Litecoin, Dogecoin maybe. And the adventurous side, they aim for Alephium. For example, before our call, I opened a tab with the current Alephium network hash rate. And this is super interesting because on the 26th of August, the network hash rate doubled. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm quite sure that at this day, Bitmain did the first production batch of the AL1, and then they start to test the machines. So
I don't know if it's that because like a lot of people, I mean, okay, first the team, we don't really talk about the price stuff. Usually we prefer talking about the tech and the stuff, but in that case, it's important. A lot of people on Twitter started showing they received the AL0 from Ice River on the 25th, 26th. So it's likely that a lot of people have activated the machines, or maybe it's also Bitmain. I don't know. Like, there's no way of really knowing. But like, they announced the ASICs like in June, July, I think early July, and now they're sending them. And Bitmain said end of August, I think. So we're almost there. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah, and what they always do is before they ship it, they test the machines, and you also with Casper at the beginning of Casper, you could see you had like high spikes with the network hash rate for 1, 2, 3 days. Then it went down, and then it came up again when all the miners were shipped to the home miners, to the hosting sites, etc. That's maybe why I thought, because they said they will ship it from the end of August. Today we have the 28th of August. I don't know.
Okay,
maybe,
so that's
yeah, will be a mixture probably of both Ice River machines, gold shell miners, and especially the AL1s from Bitmain. Yeah.
So I'm a lot about the community, right? Because that's my job every day. I mean, so I do the marketing stuff, but I also am in contact with the people all the time. It's really interesting to see like you have several different mining communities at the end of the day, right? The GPU miners have brought us to a certain point, and it's very interesting to see them either transition or not transition.
Mhm.
Uh, you have the home miners with ASICs, and you have the professional miners, or the people taking a big risk with
Mhm.
the big ASICs, right?
Mhm.
How do you so all of these are your clients at the end of the day, right? Like potentially, because like not everybody can put the kind of money. Do you also operate the home miners, or do you do shared ownerships of
Yeah.
like several miners? How do you go after these different customers? I'd say.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, we have some gold shell AL1 and AL2 boxes here in our office. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, so we are also already contributing something to the network. And yeah, we also ordered an AL1 for our office here to test
Okay.
because when new machines are out, we try to test them. We
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
see how the heat management goes, how the ASIC chips perform, how they perform under different temperatures. There are some things you need to know because ASIC miners, they behave different in different environments. And yeah, what was the second question?
Like, how do you manage the different typology of clients? Like, it's
Mhm.
different worlds, right? Like a professional
Okay. Mhm.
miner who has millions of dollars of material and has been doing that for 10 years,
Yeah.
and the guy who's either believes in the project or thinks it's gonna go well and
Yeah.
invests like what it can be substantive amount of money, even if he buys not a nice river or something.
Mhm.
How do you educate the people, or like and the question was also, do you do shared ownership? Like, could 10 people tell you, okay, we put 3,000 each and we buy a Bitmain machine?
Mhm. So first of all, we don't do the shared ownership thing
Okay.
because it's too much management for us.
Yeah.
It's too complicated. We want to have the ownership or the ownership.
Clear.
We want to have it clear, yes. And yeah, how are our customers? I would say, in the end, even if it's a home miner or if it's a professional miner, people are the same.
Yeah.
The professional miner, they are just operating in a bigger scale with more money, more machines, but in the end, it's scaling linear. Yeah, and
Okay. Yeah.
that's also the nature of the people. I mean, of course, some people buy miners because they trust the Alephium network. They believe in the network. The profitability is maybe the second point. Yeah, and some people, they just wanna make as much money as they can. Yeah, and that's how it
Or
is.
both.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But in the end, I would say the home miner is very similar to the big professional miner. They are just operating in the lower scale. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And like, do you spend a lot of time educating your clients? Because like sometimes they might not understand, like, why is difficulty going up? Why is the reward going down? Like, everyone is not born with this knowledge, and I mean, nobody is born with this knowledge, and it
Mhm.
takes time to acquire. And how
Yeah.
do you work on that? Because like, I guess it's time for you to manage people also and expectations.
Yes. Yeah, I would say this is one of our key tasks we have to do before we sell someone ASIC hardware. Yeah, we have to consult them. I already mentioned. Um, many people, they go on asicminervalue.com. I'm not sure if you know this website, but basically it's a website where they list all available ASIC miners and the current profitability based on a
Yeah,
fixed electricity price. And like
yeah,
most of the people who are not familiar with mining, they go on this website, see number one Alephium miner, they send us a request. Hey, I want Alephium miners. And then, of course, we always try to consult them because, so right now, let's say the AL1 makes $200 a day. Yeah. When the
yeah,
coin price stays linear, yeah, and the hash rate doubles, the profitability goes down, of course.
yes,
And that's the thing many people don't know. And that's why we teach a lot about network hash rate, emission schedule, and coin price cycles, etc. And we try to educate our customers as much as possible. When it comes to certain projects, we always try also to tell something about the project, also the advantages and the chance about it. But in the end, we always push our customer that he has to take the decision on which machine he wants to buy.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, because we always we want to avoid the case that we sell someone, let's say, a Casper machine. Yeah, we also had the case, KS5s, the biggest Casper miners, they used to earn $100 a day. Now the network hash rate increased a lot because, for example, big mining players like Marathon, it's a Nasdaq listed mining company. They started with Casper mining and the hash rate went through the roof. And yeah, that's the way how we do it. Yeah, that we try to educate as much as possible, but you have to take. It takes time to understand it. It takes time to understand maybe consensus mechanism, network hash rates, and all these factors. Yeah, you don't understand it maybe in half a day. It takes a little while. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite part of the job?
The crypto space is super cool. Yeah. No. So I have the comparison. So with my shoe fitter, our customers are fashion online shops. Horrible customers. Honestly, absolutely horrible. Yeah. And on the other side, the crypto mining the crypto space is super nice. It's young, innovative, and very, let's say, down to earth space. Yeah, that's what I really like. And also, you have to imagine we earn our customers money. Yeah, so basically, they are always very, very happy. So I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, if we enable them to earn money, so we sell them solid hardware, we help them with repairs, we consult them with our hosting. They are earning money, and that's why they are very, very thankful. And yeah, perfect.
How many are you in the team?
We are right now 11.
11. Wow.
Yeah.
And I've heard that on your team you have Maddox, the feel-good manager.
Yes.
Well, I found out on your website. Can you tell us a bit more about this? Because that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Actually, Maddox is the little dog of my girlfriend. Yeah, a little Pomeranian.
Okay.
And yeah, he's always trying to make our team feeling as good as possible. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And okay, last question. How do you grow? Because I guess you're growing fast if you're already 11 and it's 4 years in. What's the next frontier for you?
Internationally, going international. So right now, our main market is the German-speaking market. It means Germany, Austria, Switzerland, where we are very, very strong, probably where we have the best visibility. And right now, we're trying to go over the borders, especially within Europe. In my opinion, there's a lot of potential. And yeah, beside that, we are also trying to get more capacity when it comes to hosting. I mean, it's not like this that you can buy 1,000 machines, you just throw them somewhere, and then they are running. I mean, the infrastructure thing behind mining is way, way, way more complex than most of the people think. So, for example, when we were talking actually before the interview about it, when you operate a home miner at home, you you plug it in, machine is running, that's it. Yeah. But when you operate, for example, even one ASIC miner, a lot of heat is produced. You need a certain thickness of the cables in your home. You need a good airflow that the machine is running very properly. And now imagine this in bigger scales. 300 machines is 1 megawatt. It's even 1 megawatt. It's not big scale, yeah, but there's so much heat, network problems, and this and that, and many people underestimate it. So before you start,
I've seen a lot of videos like in the past few years of like home miners, like who are also engineers who would sometimes heat liquid that would then heat the atmosphere in their house, trying to minimize the noise and stuff like this.
Yes.
But I guess that's nerd porn somehow. Like, how did you like? You're an engineer in the first place. Like that's how you understand all that, or you just found out the right people to help you out on this.
And so I studied. I have an economical background,
Okay.
but I deep dive into the whole technical part. I still wouldn't say that I'm a tech expert. Honestly, I'm not. I'm more the generalist of everything. And yeah, we have people in our team who are very, very good with that. For example, we have Stephen. He came from the renewable energy sector. He deployed 100 megawatts of wind parks, etc. And that's so all our knowledge comes from different industries, and we combine it. And yeah,
So
big
I have,
yeah.
yeah, I have to ask you the question. Like, so one of the big issues, obviously, in mining, like public perception, is the idea of renewable energy, like the idea that this energy is wasteful. So what do you do to address that? Because as you grow, it's going to become more and more a problem.
Mhm. So actually, we focus on renewable energies. So most of our locations are 100% running on renewable energies, mainly on hydro.
Okay.
So hydro energy. So Finland, Ethiopia, and Norway, 100% hydro energy. In the UAE, we have it's mixed. It's solar, nuclear, and also flare gas. Uh, which is flare gas is also kind of it's
Yeah.
not CO2 neutral, but with burning the flare gas, you also prevent a lot of methane getting into the environment. But yeah, so we focus on being renewable. I mean, there were some cases in the US where they reactivated coal reactors, which is, in
Yeah.
my opinion, a no-go. But I think in general, the industry is shifting to renewable energies because it's more ethical, but also in the long term, it's cheaper.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And okay, last question, and then I let you go. Um, so you understand that we have proof of less work at Alephium, right? After a certain point of mining hash rate, global hash rate, there will need to be combined like some coin burning, right? This is gonna ask some knowledge and some mise en place from the miners. Have you already started studying this? Like, how do you, as a miner, approach that extra step? I would say in the mining of Alephium.
To be fair, I didn't study it too far because so especially I'm so stuck in our day-to-day business
Yeah,
it's sometimes hard to keep up with all the development
yeah,
when it comes to the project or to the projects. I would say it's an interesting topic because it's new for everyone, and I'm quite sure how everything will
yeah,
develop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not completely there yet, but we're thanks to the increasing hash rate, we're getting closer.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at 10 petahash, we're 10% of the we're 1% of the way towards the activation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
beginning of activation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How much is it? 10 petahash? No, must be
No,
more.
no, 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 no. It's 1 exahash.
Exahash. Okay. Okay. I understood.
Yeah, 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 no, no. We're
Yeah.
1% of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
But like we've progressed one order of magnitude, like from the with the i6 coming basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, thanks a lot. First, I'm gonna ask you if there anything else you'd like to share with the community?
Uh, you should, if you like Alephium, you should start with Alephium mining. I mean, only if you just operate a small home miner. It's first of all, it's a very nice flex if you have a home miner on your desk. Yeah, that's very very cool. And also with mining, you understand the nature of proof of work more because you have machines sitting somewhere using electricity to generate all these computational power. Yeah, that's also a thing. I have to say, Bitcoin is not as fancy as all the as everyone thinks because everyone is only seeing the wallet, the prices, etc. But there is a huge industry behind it. Yeah, with a lot of uh, dirty work which means a lot of hard work, a lot of cabling, electricity, infrastructure, and yeah, many people overestimate it. And if you do it yourself at home, you can understand it much better. So that's why you definitely should invest into an Alephium home miner, or maybe even an ASIC miner. Yes, and of course, I have to make a little advertisement slogan here. So if you're interested in getting ASIC miner, if you're interested in getting ASIC miners for Alephium, just or feel free to contact us at any time. Yeah.
Thank you. In any case, I'll put the links to your Twitter, websites, and everything below. So thank you for testing the format of the video Hashrate series.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting what the people think. Thanks for your enthusiasm and good energy.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we'll do more of these like in the future.
Hopefully, yes. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Vlad.